Hello? Fantastic. Okay, so I just started thinking about this title. It was like partnering with the customer support team to impact the design process. And I thought this is quicker. So it's a case study, it's a Guru's week, and I'm going to explain a little bit what I meant with this. So first of all, I wanted to start with what Shopify thinks of customer centricity. And we do a lot of things, actually. So one of the things that we are doing, this is our mission, that is make commerce better for everyone. So that is already telling us, okay, humans, the people, is in the middle of everything, right? So this is, starting from here, we have some values. There is the core values that one of them is actually be merchant obsessed. And you can see this is like a small label that is actually saying that it's a Shopify value. And we have multiple of them around the office. So you can actually, if you have the opportunity to look around, you might see these labels. These labels are coming from products from merchants that are using Shopify. So it's a constant reminder that we are working for them. This is another thing. So we were talking at the beginning of the session about the onboarding process that we have at Shopify. And during the onboarding, we have 3 days where we are learning about the disciplines, how we are working in Shopify, different things. She is Lindsay Thornton, she is the VP of UX, and this is kind of one of the things that we are seeing actually during the research explanation, when we are talking about UX research. And we are saying that there is a risk of having a very far front line with the rest of the company. So when that happens, when the majority of the team that is working in a company is very far from the front line, you are losing that touch. You are losing the possibility of innovating or creating something new that is actually meeting the needs of your customers. So in order to reduce that front line or that distance with the front line, what we are doing is a number of things. So all of these things are initiatives that are happening within Shopify something. Losing the, okay. So these are all initiatives that are happening within Shopify, and it's allowing people that are working in Shopify to do multiple things to get that sense of what are the customers, who are they, how are they feeling, how are they doing things. But this is not research. All of this is just building empathy, is showing you examples of some of these merchants that we have, but it's not about research. For doing research, we have a team of researchers. So we have more than 70 researchers working in Canada. Now we have 1 researcher in Berlin, and we are looking for another researcher in Singapore. So you know anyone in there, let me know. And in here is not UX researchers, there are market researchers, there are support research, there are data scientists. So with all that information, what we are trying to do is having a very good sense of what is happening with the customers that we have. Anytime that we are doing research, we invite the rest of the team, so they have the possibility of observing, shadowing us, learning with us, different things. But I was saying it's a case study, so I'm going to explain one of these initiatives that I was running with my team. So it's very personal. I think no one is doing it in Shopify in the same way, but I think it's working. So that's why I'm sharing it. So this is Guru's week. So my product team, that is the marketing technology team, at the beginning of the year, they were doing a big concept ideation. So there was a big risk because it was an internal ideation. It was all the team working in multiple iterations internally without any external feedback. So that was a risk. And in order to reduce that risk, we have an ideal situation. But it would be merchants. So you are talking with any researcher, they are going to immediately say, okay, you need to use merchants, you need to use your users, so you will be reducing that kind of risk. But it's difficult. Logistics are taking a long time, right? So if you're a researcher, probably you have heard about research ops. So it's the operations, the time that is taking, the resources that is taking just to have the right people that can tell you things related to your product. So that takes time, and we didn't have it. So what can we do? In the meantime, so definitely we wanted to have these merchants, these users with us and learning from them. But in the meantime, what do we have? We have gurus. That is our frontline staff. So it's our, I will say that it's not customer service, because they are doing many other things. So what gurus do is customer service, technical service, and also they are doing business development for our clients. So when a merchant have a problem, they are going to call a guru, or they are going to send an email. They're probably going to have a question for them, but then the guru is going to ask them, okay, how are you doing with your business? And they are learning from them what are the challenges, what are the pain points that they have, what are their frustrations and needs. So they have a lot of information about the merchants already, and we were not using this. So the idea was, okay, what about breaking those silos, allowing to have these conversations during our iterations of design, and bringing that information into our product team. But also at the same time, we were allowing them to see what are we working on, what is going to be the next feature that we are going to release, what is the kind of products that we are thinking about. So they are going to have heads up about those things as well. So we are working, I'm not sure if you are working on sprints, but this is kind of the process that we are working on. So we have sprints of 2 weeks, and the idea, as I was saying, is having merchants. That was the initial idea. It's research. This is not UX research, it's a different thing. But on the meantime, we could iterate with that information and making it better, right? Okay, so what type of feedback are we looking for when we are doing these kind of things? It's not the same as talking with a customer that we have, a real user that we have. It's a different thing. So we encourage them to think about all the previous experiences that they have had. What were the problems that they were trying to solve for our clients? Trying to think about those things, put them already in the mode of responding some of the questions that I have. And I'm going to show you 3 examples of those questions. So the first one is how you had to help merchants understand products that are similar to this one. So when we are asking these questions, they are immediately thinking, okay, if you are going to use that data, they are going to ask me these questions. If you are not using this definition, then they are going to call me in order to find out what is going on. So it's a different style of doing UX research, so the information that we will receive from customers. Second one, how would you describe this product to a merchant? So something that they are doing on a daily basis is explaining the products and services that we have to other people. So they are the best in order to, okay, digest all the information that they have in front of them and explain it to someone else. So the idea is using that information can help the content strategy team that we have in order to have better descriptions, for example. Another question, and this is the last one that I'm showing, what type of calls would you receive if we are releasing the product as it is? So this is already expectation. This is a really tough one because we are asking them to put them in the move of the future. It's something that you are not doing ever with a user, but this is a different thing. So with the experience that they have, they can anticipate some of the questions that people may have about the products that we have. So what type of feedback we are not looking for? So there is very difficult for some of the gurus that we have not to talk about the interface. So we are not looking for that. We don't want them to tell us if we need to use a Dropbox or a radio button or no, we are not interested in that. It's a different thing. But still, we are receiving some information about that. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not. Anyways, how do we use this information? So I wanted to say it's multiple more things, but I'm going to say just 3 things. So one is gurus help us to anticipate problems, and this is fantastic because in the iteration before actually showing it to a merchant, we are already doing some kind of risk assessment of what is our product, right? The second one is we define better our products and our features, so it's easier for merchants to understand afterwards. And the last one, this is something that I found super interesting. It's making clear the value proposition of the products that we are releasing. So they are able to understand, digest the product that we want to release and explain it to someone else. They know if that is going to be valuable for someone else. So this is very valuable for the team. Is this all? Yep. So gurus, as I was saying, doesn't replace doing research with merchants. So with merchants, we are looking for another type of research, but it's a proxy user. They have a lot of information, and And we should be using it. It's part of the team. They are part of the team. I'm not sure if you were able to read all the different initiatives that we have in there, but one is called Bridge the Gap. So we are reversing the bridge. What we are doing is allowing the gurus that are every day answering questions to understand our product process and understanding how we are going to deliver, how we are going to create our roadmap. So they are going to have a head start. And that is not only motivating for them, it's also that it's helping them to explain merchants what is coming. And that is very useful as well. And the final thing is that it's continuing the conversation. And it's also very interesting because what we are allowing with this space is because they already know what we are working on, they can send us the questions or the problems or the needs that they are identifying on these merchants that they are working with every single day, and we can learn from that. We can even do research with that specific merchant, for example. So this is also very, very useful. So basically what I wanted to share today was this case study. There are multiple opportunities for doing these kind of things with the teams that you have, even if you don't have user researchers with you. This is something that anyone can do with a customer service support, and some of the things that you can get from it. So that's it. Thank you.